seduction, confidence, power. These three forces have shaped human history more than armies, more than wealth, more than intelligence itself. They are not separate abilities, but interlocking pillars of dominance. To master one is to touch the others, but to master all three is to become untouchable. Niccolò Machiavelli, so often reduced to the image of a manipulator, saw a deeper game. He was not merely writing of princes and politics, but of the anatomy of human influence. For him, seduction was never just romance. It was the art of becoming irresistible in every field of life. Business, politics, friendship, even war. Confidence was no empty self-help idea. It was armor, and power was not a trophy taken by brute force. It was earned through perception. This begins with the first step to becoming that dangerous hybrid Machiavellian figure, someone who does not chase but pulls others in, someone whose confidence cannot be cracked, someone people follow not by duty but by fascination. You do not need to be the most attractive, you need to be the most compelling. Machiavelli would argue that desire is born not from pleasure but from uncertainty, from anticipation of what might be yours, but is not yet. As he wrote in The Prince, men are driven more by fear of loss than by the promise of gain. What does this mean for seduction? It means you create tension, not chaos, but mystery. You never give everything. You are not always available. You do not always respond. Your presence must feel like a privilege, not an entitlement. Become the unanswered question. Speak less than expected. Hold eye contact, then break it first. Smile, but not always. Make your warmth something to be earned. Let silence weigh heavier than words. People pursue what they cannot fully grasp. They obsess over what remains just out of reach. The moment you hand over everything, your attention, your approval, your vulnerability, they lose interest. Seduction is no act. It is a strategy of scarcity. You have been deceived. You were told confidence comes from achievement, from being liked, from validation. But Machiavelli knew the truth. Confidence is not internal. It is performed. You do not wait to feel powerful. You act as if you are. And once others believe it, you will too. This is why some enter a room and every head turns. Not because they are wealthy or famous, but because their posture speaks. I do not need you, but you might need me. As he wrote, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few truly experience what you are. How then do you perform power before you feel it? You claim space, stand taller, occupy more ground. Do not shrink, move with intention. Slow, deliberate gestures convey control, while rushed movements betray anxiety. Speak last. When others scramble to fill silence, you wait, letting it press on them. Touch your glass, your collar, your pen slowly, as if time bends for you. Never explain yourself, for justification is insecurity disguised as honesty. Confidence is not loudness. It is the quiet presence of someone dangerous who need not prove it. Even if your hands tremble, even if your mind races, your behavior becomes your blade. Repeat the performance until it hardens into reality. Power is born from shaping what others feel around you. Machiavelli understood a truth both cold and eternal. It is not necessary to be loved. It is necessary to be feared or admired, but above all to be respected. Power does not come from domination, but from emotional mastery. Make someone feel respected, and they will follow you. Make them feel seen, and they will protect you. Make them feel lesser, and they will obey you, smiling as they do. To wield this, you must first master your own emotions. Never reveal jealousy. It screams weakness. Never show desperation. It exposes dependence. Never display outrage. It betrays lost control. Never give admiration too freely. It signals low value. When provoked, become colder. When praised, remain still. When disrespected, look upon them as though they have shamed themselves. Your reactions are your throne. The one who flinches at insult, who begs for attention, who grins too wide, is instantly forgotten. But the one who looks indifferent while others scramble, this is the figure they call powerful. Be the spider, not the fly. Weave emotional webs. Picture two kinds of people. One reveals everything, over-explains, overshares, desperate to be liked. That is the fly. The other listens, smiles faintly, asks questions, shares little and watches. That is the spider. Machiavelli would not instruct you to control directly. That is crude force. Instead, build subtle traps. Offer compliments with hidden edges. Ask questions that expose hidden motives. Mirror body language to build invisible trust. Withdraw slightly when they come too close, and they will chase. Allow them to believe they are leading, while all along they are walking into your web. And when they are caught, do not yank, simply wait. This is seduction raised to its highest form. This is psychological combat. This is the moment influence becomes dominion, not because you commanded, but because you made them want to obey. And already, in this first movement, the myths of influence lie shattered. Seduction is not attractiveness. Confidence is not feeling good. Power is not blunt control. They are all about bending perception. If you appear rare, people crave you. If you appear unbothered, people admire you. If you appear above, people follow you. And here lies the darker truth. You do not need to be these things at the start. You only need to play the role until the role reshapes reality itself. The game is psychological, the rules invisible, and Machiavelli handed you the blueprint. We now step deeper into the Machiavellian transformation, where seduction becomes instinct, confidence becomes unshakable, and power stops being a destination and becomes your natural state. You have already seen how to alter perception, but now we move inward to mastery of self, where your energy grows so commanding that others unconsciously adjust around it without knowing why. This is no longer pretending to be powerful. This is the moment you become it. Emotional control is the highest form of confidence. Anyone can appear strong when life is smooth, but real Machiavellian confidence is tested under fire, when you are insulted, ignored, embarrassed, or challenged. Here is the trap where most fall. They react, they defend themselves, they justify, they lean in, they raise their voice, they over-explain. Machiavelli's genius was to see that the most dangerous men are those who do not react. They absorb, they withhold, and they choose their response. As he noted, a wise prince should attract attention by his conduct, not his words. Emotional control is not indifference. It is discipline. It is the ability to live in the same chaos as everyone else, but remain unreadable, untouched, unmoved. To cultivate this, when insulted, do not correct. Let the insult hang in the air and answer only with a faint smile. When someone tries too hard to impress you, remain neutral, never granting validation too fast. When something unsettles you inside, delay your response and allow time to dilute its grip. Over time, you become a fortress, and people feel it. They think twice before disrespecting you. They crave your approval. They fear your silence because you have trained yourself not to flinch. That is confidence that does not shatter even in fire. Seduction is not bound to sex. It is influence without resistance. Most mistake seduction as purely romantic, but Machiavelli's idea was far wider. To seduce is to make others align willingly, to make them lower their guard, to make them believe you are the answer to their hidden hunger, status, love, validation, security, rebellion, or power. This is why the most legendary seducers, Cleopatra, Casanova, Julius Caesar, were not always the most beautiful. They understood desire. They knew most people live in fog, insecurity, boredom, fear, longing. A Machiavellian seducer enters like a spell. You do not sell yourself, you sell a feeling. You become the mystery that interrupts their monotony, the danger that shakes their numbness, the approval that heals their wounds, or the challenge that forces them to rise. Do you want to be instantly seductive? Then speak to their cravings, not their words. Mirror their emotion, then elevate it slightly. Use ambiguity. Say enough to spark curiosity, then step back. Do not over-explain your motives, let them wonder. Above all, make them feel seen more deeply than anyone else. People fall for those who reflect back the best version of themselves. It is not because you are extraordinary, it is because with you they feel extraordinary. True power is forged in silence and unleashed with precision. In politics, in war, in love, the loudest power burns out first. Noisy power is fragile. Real power hides until the strike. Machiavelli told rulers to appear harmless while plotting ruthlessly in secret. This is not deception. It is tactical invisibility. You must master withholding. Withhold your long-term aims. Withhold your next step. Withhold your core values. Withhold how deeply you care. This is not coldness, it is armor. If no one can predict your moves, they cannot block them. If no one knows your limits, they assume you have none. The powerful speak little, but observe everything. As Machiavelli warned, he who builds on the people builds on mud. People change, loyalties shift, perceptions lie. Build your foundation on secrecy and self-reliance. Trust with caution, reveal little. Always stand 2 moves ahead. For when your true power is revealed, it must strike like lightning, sudden, undeniable, leaving no chance of recovery. Become the source of others' identity, and you own them. This is one of the darkest yet most devastatingly effective Machiavellian arts. People are wired to belong, but most lack a fixed identity. They borrow it from culture, from lovers, from leaders. If you give them a sense of self, you become irreplaceable. You do not control with threats. You control by becoming the mirror in which they see their best self. Tell them they are unlike the rest. Assign them a role. Protector, rebel, genius, seducer. Reward them only when they act in line with it. Withdraw when they betray it, and watch their panic. In time, they will not just want you. They will need you to preserve the image of who they believe they are. This is how cult leaders rise, how toxic lovers bind, how kings breed fanatics. Machiavelli never demanded tyranny. He demanded understanding of power's machinery, and this mechanism is supreme, for when someone ties their identity to your approval, you need no chains. They forge their own. Up to this point, you have learned to wear the mask of power, to bend perception, shift behavior, and weave psychological traps. But here lies the final twist Machiavelli hinted at. When the mask is worn long enough, it fuses to the skin. Your actions rewrite your beliefs. Your posture sculpts your presence. Your restraint crystallizes into control. Your seduction becomes your nature. Most people search endlessly to find themselves, but a Machiavellian does not search, he constructs. Brick by brick, behavior by behavior, until one day he no longer needs tactics because he has become the tactic. That is what makes the powerful truly dangerous. They do not act like they have options. They know they are the option, and everyone else, consciously or unconsciously, begins to orbit around them. Once you have shaped the exterior, it is time to step into the internal realm, where real Machiavellian power consolidates. The outer world you craft must now mirror the inner architecture of belief and psychological weaponry you carry within. Here lies the truth Machiavelli understood. People are not ruled by force. They are ruled by the assumptions they form about you, and when you guide those assumptions without lifting a finger, you become untouchable. Master the power of negative space. Say less, mean more. Most rush to fill silence, to explain, to persuade, to impress. They treat silence like a hole that must be patched. But in Machiavelli's domain, silence is no weakness. It is a blade, and often sharper than words. As he wrote, "A wise man does at once what a fool does at last." Think of the most feared figures. They rarely spoke much. That was no accident. It was strategy, because the less you say, the more others imagine. They project. They wonder if you are insulted or amused or holding knowledge they lack. That wondering, that storm of overthinking hands you power without effort. To weaponize negative space, pause longer than expected in conversation and let silence choke the air. When asked for approval, withhold it. Make them sit in uncertainty. When challenged, do not defend. Stay still. Let the unease grow heavier than any words. In groups, observe first. Speak one line with precision, then withdraw. People remember what was not said. They obsess over the gaps. And in those gaps, you become more myth than man. Silence is the dialect of the powerful. Weaponize rejection. Become the prize, not the seeker. Most waste their lives chasing approval from friends, family, lovers, bosses, strangers online. But approval is a trap. The more you chase it, the less you command it. Machiavelli saw clearly, he who wants less holds more. Power belongs to those who can reject. This is not cruelty, it is choice. It is independence. It is building a reality where your absence is feared more than your presence is enjoyed. That is how you flip the dynamic. When someone clings too eagerly, step back. When they fail your standard, withdraw without excuse. When invited, delay your answer and let the weight of your presence be felt. When insulted subtly, laugh lightly as if they failed to reach you. Rejection breeds rarity. Rarity breeds power. The ultimate seduction is being wanted by many but choosing only a few. You do not chase, you draw in. And when people realize you are irreplaceable while they are not, they alter their behavior forever. Psychological warfare begins with inner speech. What you project outward, your posture, tone, energy, is born in your dialogue with yourself. If your mind is poisoned by insecurity, resentment, or doubt, no external trick can shield you. You will break when disrespected, stumble when challenged, crawl for validation when empty. But the Machiavellian mind is not soft. It is merciless and clear. It does not whisper, "You are enough." It commands, "Become more," or be ruled. Rewire your internal script. Replace, "I hope they like me," with "Let's see if they qualify." Replace, "I'm nervous," with "This is power sharpening itself." Replace, "What if they reject me?" with "Good, they revealed their value." Replace, "Why did they do that to me?" with "I allowed it, never again." Machiavelli would remind you no one owes you respect. You earn it by becoming undeniable. That process begins with how you speak to yourself in silence. You are either your sharpest general or your weakest traitor. Control the frame, never argue, define. Every exchange has a frame, a hidden lens through which meaning is filtered. The one who sets the frame rules the interaction without debate. Most argue facts. Machiavellians argue context. If accused of arrogance, respond, "Confidence looks like arrogance to the insecure." If someone interrupts you, fall silent, then ask calmly, "Are you finished?" If someone gossips, reply, "Why are you comfortable telling me this?" The frame flips, and suddenly they are exposed. To control the frame is to write the script, while others unconsciously play their parts. Do not accept frames. Break them. Or better, build your own. Cultivate fortress energy. There exists a type of man who radiates a dangerous calm. He smiles faintly while others panic. He listens but reveals nothing. He speaks rarely, but when he does, silence falls. That is fortress energy. Machiavelli advised rulers to build fortresses of stone, but in the modern world your mind is the fortress. To radiate it, learn to thrive in solitude. If you require others to feel whole, you are not dangerous, you are dependent. Guard your inner walls, cease oversharing. Speak with precision, withdraw into silence and emerge only when it serves you. Your vulnerability becomes a weapon against you the moment you reveal it too soon. Every goal exposed early is a map someone can use to exploit you. So train in private, read in silence, write without announcing, build without showing, Sharpen yourself while they assume you are idle. Master your micro-reactions. When something shocks you, pause. Do not let your face betray your thoughts. A fortress does not flinch, it does not rush, it waits. And when it strikes to finish. This energy forces others to second-guess themselves around you. It makes them wonder if they underestimated you. It commands respect by instinct. And once respect takes root at that level, it is nearly impossible to undo. By now, you have learned how to seduce minds, display confidence, and embed power into the way you walk, talk, and think. But there remains one final transformation, where you step beyond being respected in the present and enter the realm of being remembered forever. This is what Machiavelli sought to master. Not just temporary control, but permanent influence. Not just the gaining of power, but the forging of a legacy that no enemy could erase. Here lies the final stage, the summit of the Machiavellian path. You have seduced without lowering yourself. You have built confidence that requires no permission. You have gained power through silence, rejection, and framing. Now you face the last frontier, immortality. Not in flesh, but in the realm that matters most, lasting psychological influence, to cease being only a man and to become a symbol, to remain in a room after you've left it, to live in minds long after you are gone. This is not about ego. It is about domination without effort. Here is the blueprint. Become their standard. Make yourself the measure by which they compare everyone else. The greatest seduction is not fleeting, it is permanent mental real estate. A Machiavellian doesn't crave being liked in the moment. He craves being remembered when absent. He wants others to meet someone new and feel disappointment because they fall short of him. You must become their reference point, their inner gold standard. How? When you exit someone's life, leave with mystery, not closure. Never over-explain. Let them wonder. When you enter, arrive as something they have never encountered. Speak less, see more, reveal nothing. Be the one who made them feel awe, fear, or possibility they never expected. Make them laugh, unsettle them, silence them, then withdraw. The mind clings to contrast. If you are truly distinct, even in silence, they will search for you in others and never find you. That is how you haunt. Not as a ghost, but as a standard no one else can match. Make your presence a performance. Make your absence an event. There are two kinds of people, those whose presence is background noise, and those whose absence is felt like a missing organ. Machiavellians choose the latter. They design their impact. They know when to appear, how to speak, when to vanish. Presence is not routine. Presence is a weapon. So appear rarely, but powerfully. Do not make yourself overly accessible. Scarcity builds mystique. Enter a room with calm stillness, not restless energy. Leave before you are forgotten. Preserve your value. Let silence grow heavy enough that others begin to miss your voice. Disappear without warning and let the absence echo. This makes them doubt themselves, wonder what they did, and crave your attention. It generates longing. Your absence becomes a disruption, a shift in the room. This is how legends are forged. Not by constant showing, but by rare, unforgettable appearances. Cultivate myth. Allow others to fill in the blanks. Machiavelli understood this well. You do not need to correct rumors. You do not need to explain your past. You must control the inputs, then let their minds do the rest. Drop subtle hints that stir curiosity, then change the subject. Let them overhear praise, but never repeat it yourself. Never clarify everything. Let mystery breathe for you. When accused falsely, smile instead of defending. Keep the myth alive. Myths are not owned by you, they are owned by the audience. If you build your image too directly, it looks fabricated, but when others piece it together from silence, whispers, and fragments, it feels earned. And what feels earned becomes unshakable. Transcend the persona, become the archetype. You began this path seeking seduction, confidence, and power. But at the final level, you must ascend into something larger than life. The archetype, the king, the queen, the enigma, the phantom, the savior, the flame. Whichever identity serves your strategy, embody it so fully that others stop seeing you as a man. They see you as the idea itself. You don't act confident, you are unshakable. You don't play hard to get. You are the one they never recovered from. This is the apex of Machiavellian mastery. When you are no longer someone who possesses traits, you become the trait. You are not someone who intimidates, you are intimidation. You are not someone who seduces, you are seduction. You are not someone who holds power, you are power itself. And once you ascend into symbol, others will begin to shape their actions around you.